Something which is amazing also is even the greatest enemies of the Messenger of Allah, alayhi salatu wasalam, could not oppose his prophecy, and it would have benefited them to do so. There was a man named Abdul Uzza, evil man. Does anybody know his kunya? We always mix these two up, right? Nope. Abu Lahab, right? Abu Lahab. So, Abu Lahab, if the Prophet ﷺ was to say something was black, he said was white. He just used to follow him around and try to contradict everything he said. So, what was the main miracle about this? Tabbat yada Abi Lahabin wa tab. This surah was sent down 10 years before Abu Lahab died. That he was saying that Abu Lahab was going to be in the hellfire. Along with who? His wife. Now, why is this a miracle? Because the Messenger of Allah, alayhi salatu wasalam, had many enemies. Khalid ibn Walid and others. Abu Sufyan al-Sakhr. Many enemies who were pagans and became Muslim, became Sahaba. So how did he know that Abu Lahab wasn't going to become Muslim? Or how did he know that Abu Lahab was not going to pretend to be Muslim just to contradict him? 10 years before, this man's going to the hellfire. He's not going to embrace Islam, and he's not going to pretend to be a Muslim. He's going to stay a kafir, he's going to the hellfire. And it happened just like he said. Now, just a footnote, if you don't mind, will give you, there's a lot of benefit in the story of Abu Lahab, right? First of all, what does the name Abu Lahab mean? Father of the what? Father of the flame, right? Why was he called father of the flame? Was it because he's going to the hellfire? So if you go to Google and type in Abu Lahab, they're going to come up with a picture of some hideous looking man. Stay away from Google, Yaquan. I'm not saying stay away from it, but it ain't too good. And they'll draw it because, some of the Arabs do skits and plays, and this person will be playing Abu Jahl. He'll be an ugly man. Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab was called the father of the flame by his father because he was handsome. He was very handsome, right? So he called him father of the flame. Now, this is not strange amongst the Arabs. There's a Sahaba named Al-Harith ibn Farwa ibn Shaitan. Al-Harith, the son of Farwa, the son of Shaitan. His grandfather's name was Shaitan. Why is that? Because his grandfather was so handsome. They call people the Shaitan because he's handsome. And this is something which I saw in Yemen. When I was in Yemen, a woman had a baby, and someone said, "Hiya jamilatun jiddan, hiya shaitana." Like, she is beautiful, she's a devil. And so this was a normal thing in Yemen. Somebody who's attractive, they call him a devil. So keep in mind that the names can be deceptive. So Abu Lahab was not because of him going to the hellfire. He was called that when he was a baby because he was attractive. All right? Now, another thing about him, which is interesting, is that when I was in Yemen, and myself and Sheikh Hassan Somali, there was a guy there with us named Morton Storm. We all know the story, right? This guy from Denmark, he was with Sheikh Mukbir for a while, then he went with some of the Hizbis, and he ended up apostating from Islam. But do you know why he apostated? In his own words, he said when his grandmother died, he was real close to his grandmother, and he couldn't accept the fact that his grandma was going to the hellfire. So he left Islam because of that. He couldn't accept the fact that my grandma was going to the hellfire, so he left Islam. Now compare that with Dura bint Abi Lahab. She was the daughter of Abu Lahab, as was Utbah al-Mu'attib. They were hearing this surah recited that their mother and father were going to burn in the hellfire, and that didn't shake their faith. Utbah actually embraced Islam after the surah was sent down. Dura, his sister, was a narrator of hadith. They reciting the surah, hearing it recited that their parents are going to roast and be tortured in the hellfire, and didn't move their faith. How many people have you talked to? I give dawah sometimes to Christians for years, these people that I know personally. And when it comes down to it, they say, look, Islam's the truth, but if I embrace it, I'm admitting my mother was on falsehood and she's going to hellfire. I can't do that. Look at the Sahaba. They knew their lowest and down verses that they had to recite about their parents going to the hellfire, and they kept their faith strong. So keep that in mind. Does anyone know how Abu Lahab died? Wasn't too good. So somebody said leprosy. Wasn't that nice. Somebody said in the Battle of Badr. Wasn't that nice either. So we'll tell you the story. So Abu Sufyan, and when you speak of the Sahaba, there are two people that have the name Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan al-Mughira ibn al-Harith, who was the first cousin of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Abu Sufyan Sakhr, who was the father-in-law of the Messenger of Allah alayhi wasallam. They both became Sahaba, but they were both initially pagans against Islam. So Abu Sufyan al-Mughira ibn Harith, before he embraced Islam, he went out to the Battle of Badr and fought with the pagans. Now, Abu Lahab, where was he at during the Battle of Badr? This hardcore antagonist. He didn't go. Coward. Stayed behind. Because he had a dream that the pagans were going to get killed, so I ain't go, I'm staying home. Right? So, when Abu Sufyan returned from the Battle of Badr, and his uncle, because Abu Lahab was his uncle, was in the tent with the women. He said, which side was victorious? Abu Sufyan said, they killed us any way they wanted to. And they captured us any way they wanted to. We couldn't do anything with them. And then he said something. He said, but I don't blame our people for losing. Abu Lahab said, why not? He said, because I swear by Allah, I saw men dressed in white riding piebald horses, and we couldn't harm them at all. Abu Rafi, who was a Coptic and the freed slave, he was in the care of Al-Abbas. Al-Abbas was who? The uncle of the Messenger, alayhi salam. He was in the tent. Now, he was a Muslim, but he was hiding his Islam. And he was under the care of Al-Abbas, and the wife of Al-Abbas, her name was al-Fadl. Abu Rafi, when he heard about these men in white, he was hiding his Islam. He just lost it. Those are angels. And he exposed himself. Abu Lahab got upset. Oh, you're Muslim. Went and slapped him and got him on the ground and began to lean on his chest and beat him. Al-Fadl got upset, and she grabbed a tent pole and went upside the head of Abu Lahab and cracked his skull. And he got infected by that and died. He got killed by one of the sisters in the tent. He couldn't escape death. He didn't go out on the battlefield. He died in a tent from a sister. Alhamdulillah for the sisters.